On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yay, yay. I'm still here. I'm in the building. Old school. I am an old school guy, though.
You are.
I mean, I'm not as old school as Kenny, but Kenny, you look younger than Stricky.
I tried to.
I thought I was still looking good. You look good.
I try.
Yeah, but I be seeing you getting your workouts in. Steam work.
Bad eating, but no drinking and smoking.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't say that. Cigar be in my life. You know, I'm Michael. I don't think I do it like Mike Jordan, but I do it. Some of my favorites. I'm a Padron guy. Like Padron, 26, 64. I like Oliva Milano.
You drink Tito's?
I'm a Tito because I don't want all the sugar.
That's what my brother drinks.
I drink a little Tito. I don't really necessarily like Tito, but I'm a wine guy, so that's to mess me up.
There you go.
I do the wine. But nonetheless, we on old school. And Kenny, man, listen. XFL's about to jump off.
It's going to be interesting.
That's what I wanted to get your perspective on because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is taking it over. Obviously, he understands Showtime better than others, being that he's been in the entertainment game, whether it be with wrestling. He is a football guy, so he definitely understands it. Played down there in Miami. Takes over the XFL. XFL was starting to make a run, and then all of a sudden COVID hits. Boom, it goes out the window. But one of the things I like about what they're trying to do in their affiliation with the NFL is they're trying to use it as I don't want to say guinea pig, but they want to do some things in the XFL to maybe give a little test market to see if it's some things that they can implement. I think they're trying to get back to the receiving game and allowing the receivers to be able to, make their attempts to break something open. Mm-hmm. And hopefully they're saying they're making it safer. What's your perspective on the USFL, the XFL for football players, and throw in the Arena League?
I think it's a lot of opportunities for guys that don't get a shot at the NFL to get film. To get film. Now you got more film. So if there's injuries in the NFL, you may get called up. But as long as there's opportunities for guys to continue to play football.
I noticed that when I talk to some of my ex-football guys, they're saying, I just don't have enough film. And people don't realize in that game, that huddle and all those different films, is that where people get it from?
It's just opportunity to play.
Okay.
To continue to play, but you also getting good film against good competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like going to the CBA. I mean, when you was in
going
down.
Yeah.
You still playing, but now you have film.
Yeah.
You're the leading scorer in the CBA. What they gonna do with it? You're gonna be on a lot of people's call-up list.
Do they? And I'm just getting football perspective. Do they put it on a board? Is it based on need? Is it how can we find a diamond? What are some of the things that top officials are looking for?
Needs.
It's mostly needs.
It's needs, and then you can possibly find a diamond in the rough in the XFL. You know what I mean? So you go there, you do what you're supposed to do, keep your nose clean, you ball out, you'll get a shot.
Question: you played in Canada?
Yes.
Tell me the unique differences about Canadian Football League, and because I know you only get you get 2 downs.
You get 2 downs to make
first down. So the movement part is what throws me all the way. Everybody can move if you want to.
Yes.
So tell me some of the unique differences between the Canadian Football League and the pro.
First and foremost, it's a wider field, longer field. Okay. So it's
longer too?
It's longer.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the end zone is longer. End zone, the goalpost sits on the goal line.
Okay.
And the end zone is 20 yards long, deep. So you got to cover.
You got to really cover.
You get a guy running that you've got a 10-yard head start, full speed. Your eyes,
who can run a stop or a dime, a drag,
whatever he wants. Yeah. So your eyes and your feet got to be 100.
So if you're in the NFL and you're in the offices, what type of players are you looking at in the Canadian Football League to potentially bring over? Is it quarterbacks, mostly skill players, probably not defensive linemen?
Not defensive linemen.
Okay.
Not old linemen. Mm-hmm. It's mostly skill players.
Mostly skill players.
Receivers, DBs, safeties, linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
You may get a DN that'll get a shot. Like I played with a guy my first 3 years when we were in Sacramento. Then we went to San Antonio. Then they canceled the teams in the States. He went to New Orleans. He lasted in New Orleans 5 years, but he was an interior guy that could wreck shop.
Yeah.
So now he lasted 5 years with New Orleans. So sometimes they'll look for interior guys, but you have to be balling. Most of the time it's skilled guys.
There's been some changeover, some turnover. I know you've talked about this on a regular basis, but I blessed to get the privilege to have these conversations with you now that I'm hanging on a little longer here on the old school. Let's think about it like this. Nebraska right now. We know that they have some areas of deficiency, especially on the fronts, in the front line, O and D. We got a lot of returners. As far as in the defensive back, they got some veterans there. The linebacking core, veteran. Now, do you feel there's enough depth there, being that injuries have seemed to crop up with them on that defensive side as a linebacking core? The guys that are coming in, is there anybody that just you now being not necessarily internal, but on the outside looking in, is there anybody that we brought in that you think maybe we could keep our eyes on in the spring?
I think the spring is telling. You just have to wait to have the spring ball to see.
Over 100 recruits right now. Kenny,
there's
can we get down there? So you think the spring is really going to be a good telltale as to who's going to stay and who's going to go? Okay,
yeah, that's your what do you call it? When you trying out for a play.
Yeah, that's
audition.
That's your audition.
That's your audition. Yeah.
This is your audition. Now it starts doing off-season workouts.
Yeah,
mat drills, but then once we get into spring ball, that's your true audition.
I believe we have Jay Foreman on the line. Jay, you with us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, what's up, fellas? I hear you guys talking about the new Huskers coming in, all 150 new players they got, man. Hey, man, I look at it like this, man. I remember I met the late, great Kirby Puckett, and this is when I was trying to play baseball strict. That lasted, as soon as I first saw my first change up and curveball, my dad said, bro, hit the hoops and hitting people, right? But Kirby Puckett said, hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with striking out. He said, hey, the more times you swing, the more home runs you're going to get. So that's the way I look at it. They keep bringing cats in. Sooner or later, some guys are going to hit. But I'm going to tell you one name right here, Kenny.
I'm listening.
E Strick, a.k.a. Stricky, K-Dub. You know what I'm saying? Dylan Rogers, the linebacker, inside linebacker. Now, will it?
He's a freshman.
He's a freshman. Hold on, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about in the future. His mindset, number one, is he loves football. Number one, he loves football. Number two, he's big enough. He's a legit big enough. And the way he's built, he's got density to him. So that means coming out of high school, he's probably trained the right way to where he's not so much, like you like to say, Kenny, he doesn't have a bird chest. He's got some thickness to him. So right there, just now everything else, now the pressure falls on the coaches to get the best out of him.
I'm glad Jay, sorry not to cut you off, but I'm glad you brought him up because he was one of the guys that I was fortunate enough to get to know in the recruiting process. And you said the key word, he loves football.
Oh, see, that's good.
He loves football, and he has the body and the frame and the work ethic.
Yeah.
And he has good people too.
Yeah.
Right.
He has good, solid people behind him.
Yeah.
Humble people.
That's good.
Yeah.
So Jay, I'm gonna keep my eye on that. Definitely, the spring is on the way, baby. It's right around the corner. One thing, Jay, I want to talk about these edge rushers. I want to just say personally, I've been disappointed because I come from
go ahead, bring it. Go ahead, tell it like it is. Okay, let me hear you. Let me hear what you got.
I've been real disappointed, man, because y'all did the cowboy bring me up to achy breaky heart me and pump me up on O'Shawn and all these other DNs. I come from DNU. I'm used to seeing
tailpipe.
I'm used to seeing Dante Jones, Trev Albers, Grant Wistrom. I'm used to seeing Debo. I'm used to guys, Travis Hill. I'm used to seeing cats coming off the edge laying woo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. I need to know right now in old school, Jay, who coming in, whether it be freshman or to the senior grade, is someone I need to keep my eyes on and with possibility of getting this stuff done. I need some work.
Right. Well, first of all, my name was Ben, and I wasn't in it on that conversation. I kept it all the way 100 when you go out there and just get a guy and then not use him to the best of his capabilities. But I think the one guy that comes to mind is Jamari Butler. I think he's one thing I like about Jamari. He's dedicated himself. You know, when he really started to take it real serious when I was down there, and I saw improvement even last year in the spring. He wants it. He's a tough kid, you know, and he's very, you know, he's been in Nebraska for I think 3 years, but he's very green to football because he's a basketball player by trade. So when I used to talk to him about rushing the passer, I talked to him in basketball terms, you know, hesitation, Euro step, stutter and go. And now he thinks he has a little bit. I think he has a little bit more, you know, tools in the toolbox. And so right off the rip, it'd be him. But there's so many, and you just don't know with a new coaching staff how much they're going to really, I would say, give these guys a chance. But you know, you bring in that many guys, I think you got me that. You know, you got your kind of eyes set up. But I think Jamari Butler is a guy from a height, weight, size, speed, mindset, truly competitive. And played well at times last year. And he has flexibility in it. I mean, I guess if they do run this 3-3-5, that he can actually be on the ball and actually he can play stack linebacker as well. And kind of like an MJ Sherman. Now, look, I don't know how healthy he is, but out of all the guys that they've brought in from Florida, the JUCO kid, I think, is a year away. I think he from being 6'6" to 45, I think, he has some good knee bend and ankle bend and flexibility. I mean, he'll be a year away. But MJ Sherman is the only one that has tangible tape that if you Google, you actually see him playing football and done pretty well down there in Georgia. But I don't know where he's at physically. But, you know, Jamari Butler would be the first guy that jumps off the mind right here to hopefully make a splash.
I second that on that, Jay. Just watching Jamari. Now, he went into the portal.
Yep.
And then came back. Came back. So, you know, they must have did something or said something that he liked.
Didn't feel comfortable
because he was on his way out. But just watching that kid, the way he handled himself the last 3 years as a kid, as a player. Now, you remember now, he left his freshman year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He left. He wanted to leave and he came back. He was one of those guys that came and then he left, but he came back. You know, so I think watching him the way he's handled himself the last 2.5 years, yes. I agree with Jay. He's gonna, if he's given an opportunity,
right,
he's gonna be a guy to watch.
Right. What I mean is, if you just put him out there without any preconceived notions or any type of bias, he's gonna end up number one because of what Kenny said. But here's one thing about Jamari. Here it is. You have to be straight up with him. Just straight up. I've been telling you, and that's a great thing for me, and I know Kenny. You can't come sideways with him or try to give him. Don't try to smoke screen him.
Mm-mm.
And maybe it's the way he's brought up. Obviously I wasn't in the whole initial recruiting process, but I think the more that you, I guess in quotations, kept it real with him, the more he received it, and then once he knows he can trust you, he will run through a brick wall for you. And so I said this, and I keep saying it, when sometimes, no different in the NFL or college. When you take over a program, that doesn't mean that there's not good players. That doesn't mean there's not championship type of diamonds in the rough or guys that you can take to the next level. I still don't believe Nebraska's a rebuild. I think it's a reshape or a reform or whatever you want to call it. And because I just don't. I mean, I could give you 2 or 3 reasons why, but also I feel like if you're coming into a place now, granted, it has to be within reason. Nebraska going 13 or 14-0, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is getting to 6 wins at Nebraska isn't that hard, considering the schedule, where you're at, the location, the support, fan base, and the opportunity. I wouldn't say isn't that hard. Winning a football game is hard. But in this circumstances, if you know what I mean, Kenny, you're not moving heaven and earth right now. And that's not to dummy anything down, and that's not to say that, put the pressure on anybody. That's just truly what I feel, in the confidence that I would have if I was in that position.
That's dope. Let's move to the offensive side, because I'm not going to say right now I think the possibility of a competition is there. We still don't know what's going to happen with Casey. What are some things you want to see from Jeff Sims, being that he's seasoned, he's coming over, he's been quite on top of that. But then on top of that, when you look outside, losing Trey Palmer, you've now lost Alante Brown. Marcus Washington is really the only guy still that's left with some full seasoning. But you got some guys, some pieces that are coming in. Who on those secondary pieces can emerge and challenge Marcus Washington as a one? And where do you see the competition thing, and what would you like to see from Jeff Sims from both of y'all?
Go ahead, Kenny. I know you want to.
We just don't know what Casey Thompson. We don't know what the surgery is going to do as far as him and getting.
My understanding is Sims is hurt too.
Oh, really?
He's not going through. He hasn't been doing anything with the team, from what I understand.
Okay.
So you have him, Casey, Chuba, and Logan Smothers all out.
Man,
wow.
Man, hey, if I'm Torres,
I'm looking.
Hey, what's the dude? The Wally Pip? Ain't that the dude? The dude took over, Wally Pip. Hey, so, man,
I'm Brock Purdy looking right now. I'm like, I'm watching everything he did. I'm like, yo, I'm the Brock Purdy of the Huskers. That's the way I'm looking.
So you have Harburg and Torres.
And he's got a big arm.
And he's got a huge arm.
Yeah.
So that speaks for the quarterback room right now. Right now, those guys aren't going through spring ball as much. You may get Casey late in spring, but right now, that's what you got at quarterback.
Wow.
And if you're talking about receiver, you lose Alante. You got Marcus coming back.
Get Betts back. Is that something just still don't know?
Betts is like a to be honest with you, I coach a couple kids in basketball with Betts. It's like, if you see them walk through the gym, it's all good. Then you happy. I think he's going to be a bonus. I think if Betts I think right now he's got 1 foot in, and I think he got one half of his body in. He's got the half of the other half in. Well, if he goes all in, then you're really cooking with peanut oil, like they like to say. But I think Marcus Washington is the only guy that has, I would say, like tangible productivity. Everybody else is either coming off injury or what ifs, but that also leans to a lot of opportunity. And again, when you asked about outside rushers, right, Strick?
Now, edge. I want to see the edge.
Yeah, you said edge, right? But then you asked about the edge on the offensive side of the ball is the wide receivers. The two positions that they pretty much brought in the most in this offseason was edge and receivers. And so, the opportunity is there, and it's going to be interesting to see how you manage that. 16 guys on scholarship, plus walk-ons, plus the tight end room that needs to find somebody that's going to step up, or actually 2, or actually ideally 3 and 4, plus other, specialty positions. It's going to be interesting the pitch count guys are going to have, because and I know, Strict, if in basketball, if you're not getting the rock, you can't show
rhythm.
What you do.
Right.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how they structure practice, but then structure practice reps to see who's fits in where, because there is a lot of bodies and competition in there.
A lot. I mean,
anything of that?
Where the reps going to come in?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you do it like we used to do. You had 4 full teams practicing at once, right? Right, Jay?
Yeah.
You can't have just one team practicing.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't do Club Med and people standing around. This got to be full fledged. I'd rather have 4 stations.
Yep.
Go on a rotation, going at it, and practice for an hour and 15 minutes than 2.5 hour practice and only 40 guys practice. You got a smaller roster, I think, right, as far as total, and or will be a smaller roster, and so we just got to be efficient, and that's what Matt Rule is known for, being efficient in everything he does, and more detailed than the CEO. And so that's what I think that I'm sure they have some sort of plan to make it right.
Before we get out of here, I just want to give you a quick example of what you just said. When you have a lot of people, and I remember going through my first camp with the Dallas Mavericks, and we were very guard heavy. it was the blessing for me was that more guys got hurt at my position than they were able to field a team. So meaning they were pushing me at the point guard position, but at the point guard position, there was like 4 of us. It was Derek Harper, it was Jason Kidd, it was another person, it was me, and there's no reps there because, Jason and Derek, they getting it, right? So guys got hurt, Jimmy King got hurt, other guys got hurt, and this is what you're going to have to see from those specific players, and this is what I'm talking about. I'll guard Jimmy Jackson. It's those guys that are going to step up, step in, and then show and prove their versatility and the expansion of their games. That's what helped me to get on, because my ability to take care of another space that they didn't think in their head that they had for me enabled me to be more valuable, and that helped you to get on. So who's going to show value? Yeah. Because you're not, like you said, if you don't have equality of reps, if they're not doing it the way who's going to show and prove, and how are you going to be able to do that?
It's not going to be that strict. I know we got to go to break, but it's not only who's going to go out there and say go against Hartzog or whatever and try to prove themselves there, but who is going to be the first one to hold their hand up to be the gunner on punt team and be and don't just be an R1 or L1 on kickoff. What type of big receiver says, you know what, I'll be the R3 or L3, where you're going to get into a little bit more physical confrontations on special teams? Who's going to step up and say, hey, I'll be, the up back or the wing back as far as on punt team, or I'll be the hold up guy in the interior on punt return? So that's where the value is going to come. And that falls on to Coach Foley. But, we got to go into break. Hold up, Mary. Hey, listen here. This is it here. Okay, it's a Friday. It's Michael Jordan's birthday. It's the day before the national holiday. It's myself, Dave Drouse, and my man Brody B. McIntyre's birthday. But would you ever have thought in the state of Nebraska, in the city of Lincoln, the capital, that you would have 3 brothers on the radio right now, one on the internet right now, doing things crazy? No, I ain't been drinking. I'm just Hype Man Production right here. Jay Foreman, E. Strickland, A.K. Stricky, Kenny, Wilhite, old school, with Austin on the 1s and 2s. I know Austin's is cringing right back there. He want to hit the button on me. But we are going to break right now. 93.7 The Ticket. We're going to be back, and I'm about to bring it because I'm hyped for them Hellcat Huskers, man. I'm telling you, them Hellcat Huskers are for real. Can you know about them Hellcat Huskers?
Yeah.
Oh, he ain't even hyped. We got to hype him up here. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you've put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them. The best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsuranceNE.com.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25. With stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
Meeting your goal of having a healthy diet has never been easier than with the Venue at Home Healthy Living subscription. Chef-inspired meals that are health conscious and delivered right to your door every week. All you have to do is heat and eat. We offer delicious entrees, gluten-free pastas, fresh rice bowls, soups, salads, and more. Build your own package as a subscription to receive meals every week, designed to help you meet your dietary goals. Order your custom healthy meal package today at venueathome.net.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Look at Kenny in there, Club Kid.
What you know about that? Little 50.
We are back. Jay Foreman, Kenny Wilhite, Austin is in here. Strick must have stepped out. Let him start his weekend off early. Old School.
He's watching Bill last night.
Oh, he is. I got you. Hey, man, he's always working, man. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, Kenny, is a little situation up there in Michigan, and you can dive into it as much as you want. I want your opinion as well, Austin. As we know, one of the biggest losses, I think, for Matt Rule and the University of Nebraska was Ernest Hausman transferring to Michigan. But how does it work? And this is also for you people out there that are saying that kids shouldn't be able to transfer X, Y, and Z, because I'm assuming Ernest Hausman transferred assuming that his relationship with the linebacker coach would not be over in a matter of a couple of weeks. So what are the options? Say if Kenny, you recruited me, I'm Jay Foreman, and I transfer to said college, and something happens, whether you get a job somewhere else or promotion or mutually decide to leave, what are my options as an athlete?
When you say if I've already transferred it or before or after?
No, so I just like Ernest Hausman's situation.
Yep.
He goes in the portal. You recruited me. Obviously, it's already, he's already on campus. You're still employed up until last week, I think. And then you leave, take a job or anything. What are the options for that player if it's a position coach?
For that player?
Yeah.
Unless you graduate, you can't transfer again. You don't sign an NLI, so you're not bounded. But unless you graduate, you cannot transfer again.
There wouldn't be an option to get a special waiver.
There should be.
Right, considering, because it happens all the time. It used to happen, remember, Kenny, when there was only one signing period. The coach would stay on until he gets the class, and then next thing you know, a week later, I got an opportunity, which isn't fair to the kids. And now, granted, the old saying is you go to the university or you commit to the university. But part of the reason why you do commit is the relationship with the Kenny Wilhites, is the relationships with, the Barrett Rudes and those guys. And so that's why some guys choose to leave. I just was wondering about that because it's a little bit of a hairy situation because I know as a player, and this is no different than getting a new coach in the NFL. And, yourself, this, Kenny, being in the NFL and CFL, coaches come in and want their guys. I remember being at the height of my career on a sending player, played part-time my rookie year, did well at the end, did well my second year, did really well my third year, went to Houston, led the league in tackles. And next thing you know, or actually the first 2 years led the league in tackles 1 year, second or third the next year. We bring in a coach by the name of Tom Olivadotti, who had coached the Giants, and Michael Barrow and all those guys, prior for the Giants when they made their run. And first thing he told me, he's like, Michael Barrow's my guy, but you're not really my guy. And, I had to reprove myself. So me knowing that, obviously that can happen in the college ranks as well. Who you recruited before you got there, the new linebacker coach or promoted, or what your idea is of a linebacker in certain schemes, right? Because I want to ask you about this, Kenny. Why is it some defensive coaches or defensive coordinators try to say, hey, if you are a right corner, you need to be 5'10" and above. If you're a left corner, I need you to be Richard Sherman, because you never see really uniform corners, like you see these days. If you look, here's a good example. Sauce Gardner and the other. Sauce Gardner is about 6'2", 200 pounds, big, in your face fluid. The other guy is very, not small, but 5'10", his feet pitter patter. Why is it they try to, focus on looks versus productivity?
Because most of the time the ball is played where?
The left side of the defense. Yeah.
There you go. So you want that guy. You want the shorter guy where you can hide him, and the bigger guy and the taller guy where there's going to be some bumping and grinding. Right. You have to come up and make a run, make a tackle. So that's some guys thinking.
Right.
I didn't care if you were, like Malcolm, for example.
Right. He made plays all year.
Because his belief in himself, right?
Right.
And two, because of his work ethic. He took coaching and he took off.
Right.
Whereas there's a taller guy, more athletic guy that didn't want to be coached, thought he was already there, and he went to the other side of the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But Malcolm took advantage of every opportunity he got. And me, when I was fortunate enough to get put back on the field, I made sure I stayed on him and didn't let him slip. You can't take a play off, young fella. You can't. You cannot. You got to think every play the ball's coming to you.
All right.
You got to think, you have to have the mind frame that they're going to throw the ball to your guy every play. Even when his eyes were getting bad, or his feet were getting bad, I'm like, yo, no, we can't do that. You cannot afford to do that. And then the only thing I would say that he needs work on is playing a deep ball.
Right.
Other than that, he's straight. He's straight.
Yeah.
He still needs to work on tackling, but his two weaknesses was playing a deep ball and tackling.
Right.
And I think he's going to work on those, and he's going to have. Yep.
Yeah, and you said one of the things you said, he wants to get better. He accepts coaching. I wanted to ask you this about the deep ball, because I call it tracking the ball, and I was talking about, and the reason why I was doing a a different show on for Big Ten, and I was talking to him about it was actually a couple years ago. We were talking about the two Bellevue West tight ends that they had. One went to Auburn, the other went to Oklahoma. And I said, one, I would say, hey man, I would show him Jason Peters, that's going to be a Hall of Fame left tackle, that he was a tight end. Think about becoming a tight end, right? Because the separation isn't there. That's just my opinion, right? And you could make $30 million by the time you get there, and you just need to be able to walk and chew gum. The other one I think was Helms. He was good in and out of his breaks, real physical, but he didn't track the deep ball, in my opinion, very good. So conversely, flipping to the defensive side of the ball, what are some of the things as a coach and as a player that you can do to improve on that? Because it is very hard. Because you saw it in the Super Bowl, right? You know, AJ Brown's first touchdown. That was great. That was great coverage until like the last half a millisecond, and that's tracking the deep ball. Talk about that right there, because it's huge, and it's a quality that some guys some just have it naturally, you know, just kind of like and they don't even know what they're doing, but some have to really work on it.
So I always practice as a defensive back coach, deep balls. You got to have a deep ball drill. You want to save their legs, but you got to have a deep ball drill, because they don't do it. If they don't practice it, you can't expect them to do it in the game. So we always, if it was a Sunday practice, the day after a Saturday's game, we to get those legs loosened back up, we do deep balls, or on the Monday's practice. But you have to practice. Now, I was fortunate enough, I played baseball, played in the outfield. So I think, and I don't want to brag on myself, but my uncle took me outside and he threw a football up in the dark. Listen to me now.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, though. I like that. Hey, use the force.
7 years old, he threw the football up in the middle of the street, and I had to find it. I took so many balls off the head, but by the time, your eyes have to be focused.
Right.
And the only thing you see when that ball's coming at you is that white stripe at the last second. Right. So I was fortunate. I did some of that, but then baseball came into play. That's why I was a pretty decent punt returner, because I could find the ball off a foot and judge the ball and get up underneath it and do it. So if you don't practice it, you can't expect the kids to be good at it. So you practice it. Some kids are naturally good at it, and some kids aren't. If you have I was a former quarterback, because I had a decent arm. But if you don't have a guy that has a decent arm, you get the jug machine out, chuck it up to him, or you can use a backup quarterback to help you with that.
Yeah, it'll help them too, as far as learning how to throw the deep ball. You're getting work both hands. I wanted to ask you also to double down on that. The deep ball is one thing, right? The biggest thing, this is probably prior to Scott, and maybe a little bit while Scott here, but it was really showed its ugly head when Mike Riley was here, and a little bit towards the end of Bo, was the 50-50 balls.
Yes.
What are some of the things? For me, I feel like a 50-50 ball is how you practice, right? If you practice all the way through, if you practice, swiping at the ball, even though, Kenny might catch it on me, but I'm always digging at it. Well, just that one or two times during the year, the fumble, or you'll make a big pass breakup. I want to ask your opinion on that, about the 50-50 balls, because those are things in defensive stats that, the stat gurus track, but those are things that can really take your defense up a notch or two just by, being better at that. So talk about what you would do, or tell somebody to work on, or teach a player to be better at those 50-50 balls, because it's the most important when it's in the crucial part of the game.
Yes. So on the 50-50 balls, if it's a fade ball, there's an old saying, first guy in the air wins the war, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you high point the ball. When I say high point, your arms have to be fully extended. They have to be fully extended. That's called high pointing the ball.
Right.
First man in the air wins the war, then you high point the ball. Now, if it's a dig route or out route, curl route, you always say finish through the ball. So when I say finish through the ball, if you're going sideways, one side or the other, right? One arm, the upfield arm, is to secure the ball. The arm closest to the ball is to rip it,
right,
or punch it out, right? So you secure the tackle with one arm, or you punch through his other arm where the ball is with the other arm. So the 50-50 balls, if you don't practice it, you're not going to be good at doing it.
Right.
So there's drills for that too. You can incorporate drills in practice for it. So when you go to a 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 situation, then it's already in their head. Okay, coach wants me to finish through the ball. Don't be satisfied with a guy catching the ball on you and you're not trying to get it out.
Right.
The play's not over till the whistle's blown, right?
Yeah.
So
I wanted to also ask you this as far as the mentality in practice. We've got about 2 minutes here, actually a minute, is how important is it? And I know the answer, but I'm just asking you here. Obviously, we're on radio. How important is it to you to make sure that you tell the guys that are, say, on scout team, let's just do this, right, that you're here to ball. You're not practice dummies. No. Because I think you can improve your depth of the team if you take away that mentality of, I'm just here to take it on the chin. I'm just trying to get through practice. And we could talk about, if we can get an NIL deal or Snapchat or what party we're going on. I think if you really emphasize it, I'm telling you, I mean, Kenny, you know this.
Oh, yeah.
It's important because those are reps that you're getting that aren't high school reps, that you're playing against the best of the best. Talk about how important that is. We got about 45 seconds.
Well, that's a long answer.
Just here, I'll do it better. My favorite thing on a scale of 1 to 7. You hear that, Austin? I know. So whoever it is on the text line,
you 1 to 7 scales,
1 to 7.
Whatever happens to 10.
It's the new age, man. They do new math this way. So on a scale of 1 to 7, 7 the most important. How important is it to change the mentality of your scout team and going against your starters?
It's an 8.
There it is.
It's an 8. It's an 8, bro.
I like it. See, we got there. We got to the break. See there, we're hitting the brakes. Even though I'm way across the country, and then we're still hitting it. We got Strick. He's probably on the highway. You're making money to fly away, heading back to the O. But we're gonna talk about these Hellcat Huskers. I'm gonna explain to you what the Hellcat Huskers are to make you ain't hype enough, Kenny, about these Hellcat Huskers. So we're gonna come back with our short segment, talk about these Hellcat Huskers. Jay Foreman, Kenny Wilhite, Austin on the 1s and 2s. Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 2023 inventory and have a great selection of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we can put a new vehicle order in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at coppellcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra-clean protein powder ideal for anyone wanting the Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial to residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Shopping for insurance can be a frustrating and tedious task. Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln has a full staff of licensed professional agents who will do the work all for you. Brokers utilizes over 20 insurance companies to save their clients money. Brokers Insurance Agency will always do what is in the client's best interest and will find the best program to fit your needs. Call Brokers Insurance Agency today at 402-420-5353 to get a quote today, or find us online at brokersinsurancene.com. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you February 18th at 1 p.m. as the Huskers take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
4th and 1 is what? 4th and 1 is just a sense of urgency and a sense of preparation, which means 4th and 1 is really important. Have you prepared to be in 4th and 1? So that was a heavy Ed Ogeron. That was a heavy Urban Meyer. Like that. It was 4th and 1 every day.
Oh boy.
So February 19th, it wasn't like, yeah, we're cool. We're all good.
Right.
No.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Right, we are. Oh, here's Jay. Jay's back.
Yeah, you guys. Hey, let's hear it, Austin. I'm gonna tell you a little secret. I popped up on you like a Pop-Tart, my brother.
Oh,
you sure did.
Dawn, but never forgotten, man.
Oh, Lord.
Jay Foreman, Kenny Wilhite, Austin. You know, I like playing with these guys, man, from afar, man. We got about 4 or 5 minutes, man. I'm trying to spread this ism to Kenny about them Hellcat Huskers, man. They showing.
Man, I watched that game. Yes.
You seen how that? You know, I call them the Hellcat. Once they hit that overdrive on them, they left them, man.
They did. They played from start to finish.
Right.
You know what I mean? They answered every run that they got, and then some.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
I wanted to ask you this, man. They've had 2 big victories, right? So they've kind of got over the preferable, hump of dealing with success on the road at Rutgers. Now you come back at home. Again, 5 o'clock game, a great time to play Sunday evening against Maryland, a team that just beat Purdue.
Yep.
That's on a high and playing well. Just beat you. There. You got revenge on your mind, redemption, because I don't think Nebraska played with the same energy that they had been playing. How do you get this team to have the laser-like focus? Because as hard as it's been for Nebraska to play on the road, we know it's a little easier because you don't have the distractions. You got a little bit more time off now, so you got tons of people patting you on the back in the facility, on campus, phone calls from family and friends and everything like that. Give me a few things that you would try to relay to this team to get them back in focus, or what would you do? Because I know Coach Osborne McBride would do it. We'd be right back in full pass.
Right.
We'd be right back in full pass with inside-outside run drill.
Right back. Goal line. 4 plays on the goal line.
Right. Yeah. To bring you back to reality.
You basically tell your team there's 2 great wins. 1 at home, 1 on the road. Stay focused. Don't read your press clippings. Right? Stay focused. Don't read your press clippings. And let's play Nebraska basketball. See if we can put 3 together. It's 1 game at a time. 1 game at a time for the rest of the season. See if we can put 3 games together. And if we can do that, who knows? And that's what you tell them. But you have to be focused. You can't be reading all your press clippings. You can't be on Twitter. Can't be on Instagram. You can't be on Snap. You got to be focused. So if you can keep your focus until the ball is tipped, we'll have a chance.
And what would you do practice-wise? Would you kind of bring them back and I wouldn't say, obviously, not to practice so hard. I mean, you're at the point of the season. You got to make sure that rest and recovery is huge. But you want to make sure that, one of the things that I found interesting about the Patriots when they won their last Super Bowl against the Rams, they talked about all the way up until they came, down, left for the Super Bowl, they ran this hill that Belichick had. And it was more of a familiarity thing and a tone setter. So in basketball, what would you do? Maybe have some conditioning drills, just enough contact to bring them back to reality, rebounding drills, and definitely want to have them do the things that they did well, because sometimes you can lose focus or lose your edge, I like to say, when you've been back and everybody's patting you on the back.
You want to continue to do the things that you did well, but you also want to correct your mistakes also.
Right.
So you're in a point in the season now, you don't really need to bump and grind as much.
Right.
So it's mostly correcting your mistakes, continue to focus on the things we've done well, and then see what happens.
Yeah, more mental.
It's more mental.
Right.
I mean, so as long as they can stay focused,
right,
they'll be fine.
Yeah, it's huge. It's what Nick Saban made famous. He talked about the rat poison. The rat poison, man. Remember he went off for 30, 40 minutes about rat poison because everybody was telling him that his team was good. Well, Nick Saban, they are. Face it. But at the end of the day, that's a short segment. We talked about the Hellcat Huskers and what Kenny Wilhite would do to keep their mind right. We're going to be at the top of the hour. I'm going to stay one more segment, man. We got a little pre-birthday party with me and my daughters. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta go get them. They actually want to hang out with their dad. So I'm gonna do one more segment and we're gonna get out of here. Top of the hour. Kenny, I wanted to ask you about the world of sports. What's going on? I wanted to ask you about Patrick Mahomes versus Derek Carr, what you envision in the NFL, and would you trade Justin Fields to get Bryce Young? We'll be right back. Old School, Kenny Wilhite, Jay Foreman in Austin.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you tired of the same old entertainment options? How about something that's truly fun for both kids and adults? Nebraska Knockerball, the new place to go for your private and corporate parties. Step inside one of their inflatable spears and let out stress in a healthy form of exercise. Or try the human foosball, foot darts, yard pong, giant beer pong, basketball Connect 4, and much more. Nebraska Knockerball, specializing in physical, engaging fun. Call Nebraska Knockerball today at 402-460-8724 to learn more or book a reservation now.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Max 10 for men. Bye-bye golfer lines and t-shirt 10s. Take it to the max at Max 10. Get a 30-day pass, just $25 with stand-ups and laydowns for men of stature. Be a Max 10 man. Get 30 days for just $25 now at all 4 Lincoln Max 10 locations.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrantExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brant.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
A bit of a nicer day for our Friday when compared to yesterday. We'll see a high of 38 today. Sunny skies, winds out of the west-southwest at around 10 to 15. A low tide of around 23. It will be a little breezy at times tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20, pushing our highs back up to 43. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back, Old School. Kenny Wilhite, Jay Foreman, Austin, top of the hour. Brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop located at 84th and Havelock. Every type of meat, every type of cut. Good first hour there, man, with Strick stepping in and us taking it on home. I wanted to ask you two main things, and we're going to jump to the NFL, Kenny. I was listening to some other guys, not on our station, but I also want to say this. First of all, even get started, I got to rewind. Got to give a shout out to my man Jay Terry, man. I missed him, right? I missed him on the birthday shout out. He's part of the national holiday. Jay Terry and Jay Foreman. Jay Terry's a good dude down there at Husker Equipment, holding it down. One of the original OGs, man. Jay Terry, wishing him all the best. You know what I'm saying? We'll both turn 21 tomorrow. But I want to ask you this, man. I heard some of the national media guys saying, in a long story short, that the Chicago Bears should trade Justin Fields, obviously trade up so they can draft Bryce Young. In your opinion, now you saw Justin Fields up and close and personal. I know he's a bad boy. We've seen him step it up, and some of the things he did last year were second level with absolutely no help. What's your opinion on that?
Well, Austin and I talked about it over break. It all depends on what you want to do offensively. If you want to be a pro style, or if you want to do things that he can do, then you keep him. But if you want to be a spread type offense, I'm going to get Bryce Young. He's got a better arm. I think he has a better arm. He's an okay runner. Justin Fields can run, but I just don't know how good of an arm he has. So I would. It all depends on what you want to do offensively.
Well, what would you do, Kenny? What would you do? What would you? I mean, I'm asking you. What would you do?
You asking me what would I do?
If you're the GM of the Chicago Bears, would you trade Justin Fields, who you just got at the 12th pick, that actually showed the life into the Chicago Bear faithful what a dude is at quarterback finally? So then you're going to turn around. I'm asking you, Kenny, and trade to get up Bryce Young, who's listed at 6 foot, 185 pounds, and you have no offensive line, injury-prone running back. And we ain't even going to talk about the receivers.
I'm staying with Justin Fields.
All right. What about you, Austin?
I'm probably going Bryce Young because the track record of mobile run first quarterbacks isn't as long. So while Fields has been pretty durable so far, how many hits does his body have left in him? I know Young's smaller than Fields, and Fields is a lot bigger than I think a lot of people give him credit for. That is not a small guy. I mean, he's big and he's booking it. I think I would go with a little more unknown, but maybe more traditional pass first guy in Bryce Young. But I'd take either one.
Let me ask you this then, Austin. Both of you guys kind of double back. I'm gonna give my opinion after you two. Do you guys, since you saw Jalen Hurts, right? That kind of had the same knocks on him after his first couple of years, right?
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest. Coming out of Alabama, even though he went to Oklahoma and passed, but they said still their offense was really easy. Learning and his arm wasn't as good. Didn't know how to play the position. Do you think the Chicago Bears, or do you think Justin Fields can, maybe not the leap to where, any other year Jalen Hurts is the MVP, but a huge leap to where you'd be like, okay, we got our quarterback of the future? Or do you think he's the best at he's the best at what you're going to get from him right now and not going to get better?
There's no way that he should be done growing. It's on Chicago to bring more out of him, to see if there is a Jalen Hurts style leap in him. Jalen Hurts, like you said, any other year is the MVP. But can he do it again? That's the big thing. Because, he's built different than Lamar Jackson, but we see the issues that Lamar Jackson ran into as a run-first quarterback. Greg Roman designed that system around him. You've got to be a special athlete, like special, to be able to make that work consistently. And, Lamar's electrifying. I just don't know if we've seen an offense be able to sustain that for 4 or 5 years in a row consistently.
Right.
So I would hope that Justin Fields isn't done. It was fun watching him and watching what Getsy designed for him last year. But how do they bring more out of him, not just next year, but for years to come as well?
What about you, Kenny?
I think he needs some more pieces around him. He needs some more pieces around, like you said, Hurts. His first 2 years, he struggled. Now look at him, because he added pieces around him.
Yep.
He's got guys he can work with.
It helps to have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
Yes, it helps to have guys like that. So if you surround them with good players, let's roll with Justin Fields and see where we go.
Right. I think one of the big things that hurts quarterbacks is in Justin Fields. He's just out there. You're playing for Chicago Bears, right? You have, usually if a team is picking a quarterback at 12, they're picking a guy that they're waiting to put in hopefully in a year. Well, they thrust them in there, and you have nobody, and here you go, you get beat up, and you actually infuse life into Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to think people actually start watching their offense and watching the Chicago Bears because of them. And here it is, less than 2 months later, you got people out there talking about trading you for Bryce Young. I think one of the biggest things, and I saw it up close and personal with David Carr, is you obviously have to have ownership and GM lock and step, and you have to have a GM that has a plan for you, and you have to have the coaches and the coaching staff and the whole building that believe in you. People underestimate the power of the same thing. Remember last year during the draft, do they trade or do they draft? Do the Eagles trade up and get a quarterback and let Jalen Hurts go? What did they say? No, we believe in him. We're going to surround him with better players, make the draft day trade for A.J. Brown, get him 2 number ones. Dallas Goedert is obviously the tight end. Upgrade it at the offensive line, obviously continue to be better. And then the running back by platoon, obviously led by Sanders, took the pressure off him. Now he can exploit the whole league. I think the Chicago Bears would be doing themselves a disservice. I think Justin Fields can throw the ball because of Ryan Day and the type of offensive scheme that they've been in, and the productivity of him being able to spread the ball around to numerous receivers in the Big Ten, all the while developing Jackson Smith and Jigba up there as well to maybe the number 1 receiver, and having other guys through injury step up as well. You got to think he had to spread that ball around to 4 or 5 guys. Marvin Harrison Jr. was the number 4 receiver. He brought him along. So I think that he can do it. It's going to just be interesting to see how they do it on a long-term basis based on Chicago's inability to draft, both in the offensive line. If I'm Justin Fields, even though I don't think they should trade him, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't, because you know what you do? You might be able to go to a better team and a better organization.
True.
The Chicago Bears are a blue blood, but right now, and also, is their coach really the coach that you think that's going to he's a defensive coach, right? So Kenny Mean, that he's a defensive coach. So he's thinking defense first. He's trying to protect his defense versus his offense, kind of like Mike Zimmer with the Vikings. What are you going to do then? You know, he's going to look for a quarterback that he wants to emulate, you know, which is maybe Bryce Young. And if he goes somewhere, say he goes to Houston, they got a decent offensive line, they get a couple receivers and start upgrading, he can really take over, an organization. But I'd hate to see him get pigeonholed based on the new shiny projects coming out. And then you're always playing catch up, throughout the rest of his career. Because I think he could be a top tier quarterback if he has the same support that Jalen Hurts, had, let alone, and the coaching as well. And this goes into the next question right here. I just saw it just on the ticker. Eric Bieniemy took the OC job with the Commanders.
Really?
Yeah, I just saw it. I don't know if you guys have talked about it before, but I just saw it in we talked about it before, Kenny, on shows, days before. Maybe Eric Bieniemy needs to get out under Andy Reid. I would have liked to maybe stay there if it wasn't for a head coaching job and just be kind of like head coaching waiting. This tells me two things. Andy Reid isn't going anywhere, or they want Matt Nagy to be the next coach. Right? That's really what it's telling you. So Eric Bieniemy is going up to the Commanders. What's your feeling on Eric Bieniemy, the coach, the offensive coordinator, and the move? Is it good professionally to go and do it somewhere else? I mean, his resume speaks for itself. Now he's going to the Commanders with, I guess, Howell right now as a quarterback, potentially drafting another one. Do you think it's a good move, smart, or not smart, or you kind of like wait and see?
Well, if he wants to silence all the critics saying that he can't call an offense, this is his time.
Yeah,
this is his chance to get it done. I don't know if I'd have went to the Commanders, but I mean, yeah, I'm speechless because I to me, he's well deserving of a head job. So I don't really want to discuss the fact that he has to go
and do this
to go do this and try to prove himself. He's a proven commodity. He's a really good offensive coordinator. He has a really good mind. He should have had his chance. So if he goes there and have success, I'm rooting for him. I'm going to root for him regardless.
Right.
Regardless, I'm going to root for him regardless. But if he goes there and has success and he still doesn't get a head job, come on now.
Yeah. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he should feel the need to do that if that's what if that's the reason for the move. If he feels like he has to get out of Kansas City to prove himself, that's unfortunate because Andy Reid has gone in front of the owners and vouched for Eric Bieniemy, and not just, the work he does, but the character, who he's worked with, when he's worked with them. If you're Kansas City, I don't, like letting him walk out the door for essentially a lateral move. Maybe he does have more of that freedom to call the plays, but what has Matt Nagy done in his career to inspire confidence if he's your coach in waiting? Whether that's next year, whether that's 3 years down the line, what has Matt Nagy done that says, yep, this is the guy we want over Eric Bieniemy? To me, nothing. It was a disaster in Chicago a lot of times. As an offensive guy, didn't develop Trubisky at all. Didn't find ways to help that quarterback out. So unless, Patrick Mahomes had input on this decision, said, yep, I prefer Nagy, he and I, get along better. He and I jive a little more. That's the only way this decision makes sense. But clearly the Mahomes-Bieniemy partnership worked out very well too. So if I'm Brett Veach, the GM, I'm a little disappointed that Eric Bieniemy's leaving. I'm wondering what else I could have done to keep him around to make him the next guy.
Well, I mean, it also, makes you wonder, we know that, he's, I guess, been portrayed as abrasive, hard to work with. But, Kenny, as those are where the best coaches are. Those are the best players that want to challenge. They want to challenge you as a player and as a coach, and they want to be challenged as a player and as a coach. I don't even think this is a lateral move, Austin. I think this is demotion.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's the demotion. And it's sad to say in this day and time, as many coaches as we've had that have been just as abrasive, just as hard to work with, and in a lot of ways, even more than Eric Bieniemy, that he has to take a demotion to go and prove that he's an offensive mind, when 9 times out of 10, when the guy's an offensive coordinator and he has an offensive head coach, he isn't calling the plays. And here's another thing. You want to know who was probably one of the most abrasive modern day head coaches? That's one of the greatest head coaches of all time? Bill Parcells. You know who's second? Bill Belichick. You know who's third? Sean Payton. And this is before they became head coaches and being great. They all were abrasive. They all were hard. And you know who else is? Mr. Nick Saban. You know who else was? Mr. Bo Pelini. You know who else was at times? Probably Coach McBride. You know who else was? You know, Jay Foreman and Kenny Wilhite, Tommy Frazier, LP, every great player, Christian Peter. I mean, they all want to be challenged. And so that's the weird thing about when you're talking about leading an organization, how these owners and people that are making these decisions are really overlooking the most important quality. Can he lead men? Will people follow him? And has his resume outkicked what his initial, I guess resume was just a position coach. And when Andy Reid is telling you and going to bat for you, why isn't that good enough? That's what I would ask.
Yeah, Andy Reid, who's, darn near Mount Rushmore of NFL head coaches, given his resume. And according to the reports, Eric Bieniemy is going to be named assistant head coach as well. But even with that additional title, it doesn't feel like a promotion. It feels like a step down, and that's a problem.
Yeah, I think even if he stayed in Kansas City, would they do it? I mean, he already operates as an assistant head coach. If you watch the dynamics, and this is what I like, going to sporting events and watching the dynamics of the coaching staff, you watch how him and Andy Reid conversate. He's assistant head coach. And so that's the thing that's weird that, they don't give him his props as the assistant head coach, because that's how he operates on game day. And
I agree.
Yeah. And then also, Kenny, do you think by him taking this job with the Commanders that maybe he can have more influence on potentially who the Commanders draft as far as the quarterback position? Because that will be part of one of the, if you're the assistant head coach, he's obviously not going to be making the decision, but it could be a great marriage in the sense of you might give Ron Rivera, who's already won, but he can, he's a defensive guy. You got Jack Del Rio there, and then now you have an offensive guy that can actually, manage the clock, knows what you need on offensively, as far as the firepower. And to be honest with you, I don't know where DP's at, if he's in the building or not. Those Commanders, when you think about it, and I'll tell you this, they got McLaurin as their number one receiver. They got Dotson, who they drafted, who DP didn't like, who turned out to be a 1,000-yard receiver. They have Gibson, their running back. When healthy, the offensive line is serviceable, not on Philadelphia's level, but you saw them go up there and kick Philadelphia's butt. So Eric Bieniemy is probably thinking there's probably more in the cupboard than initially thought of. But it's still a demotion going from the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going from the parade, what do they call it, Kenny? From the penthouse to the outhouse.
Outhouse.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Yeah, the penthouse to the outhouse. And he probably left that parade, jumped on a private jet, and here we are. He's named the offensive coordinator with Commanders. So it's probably a day in the life of an NFL coach, but then also it could let you know how fast things can change. And I think he'll do well.
I do too.
I think he'll do well. I think it might be something that the Commanders need. A guy that's going to come in there and not get pushed over by ownership or GM. A guy that's not going to get pushed over by a young hotshot rookie quarterback or any young guy. But I think he's going to connect with those players that actually really want to do well. You think about one of the better leaders in the NFL, Terry McLaurin, is it? I mean, when you read the tea leaves on him and how he had to come up through the hard way, where Urban Meyer told him that he shouldn't be on scholarship, and he went back and proved himself, and obviously end up being a Pro Bowl receiver. He knows what it takes, and obviously he's going to try to infuse that in the rest of the team. So I think it'll do well. It just sucks that Eric Bieniemy has to go through it, kind of like Brian Flores is going through it right now. And sometimes you got to take a step back to hopefully take 2 steps forward. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Commanders handle it, though, as well, because if the team is sold, things could change. And so it's an interesting time in the NFL, interesting time in college football. And this is the last thing I'm going to ask you, Kenny, before I jump up out of here. I didn't know this, but they were outside in the snow today in mat drills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you? Hey, man, I know that hawk was on them boys this morning. It looked early. It was dark 0:30 out in those pictures.
I want to say this: all the heroes are dead, bro.
Right.
It's all for show. Did T.O. ever take us out in the snow for mat drills?
I was going to ask you this. As much as
Boy, ever take us out in the snow for mat drills?
No. And we never had to because our mat drills were hard enough up in that Cook Pavilion.
In the Cook Pavilion, anyway.
Yeah.
So you answered your own question on that
there
one.
There it is. I wanted to ask you if Boyd actually took us outside. We've both seen Coach Osborne legs when he used to be running. Hey Kenny, do you think Coach Osborne would ever come out there with them shorts on? Because he had them extra medium shorts on too.
Extra medium.
Yes.
The pale legs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So
those things he would have blended in when the snow. I'm gonna tell you this about Coach Osborne before I leave. Coach Osborne used to run every day after practice. Every day. Not run fast, but my man was the epitome of consistency. As soon as practice was over, he would be running around the field, and by the time we went and showered and got ready to walk over to either the training table, he'd still be running. So to end the weekend in this segment with Jay Foreman, it's the motto of consistency, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, 10 inches of snow, which is probably, I don't think, verifiable because a lot of snow drift. But anyways, I hope everybody has a good weekend. Hopefully my Hellcat Huskers take it home. And Kenny and Austin, you guys hold it down. I'll be seeing you guys on Monday. Hopefully I can get up out of here. You guys don't, do Snowmageddon on a brother again.
It's gonna be in the 40s, brother. You good? Go enjoy your birthday, man. Happy birthday.
I am, man. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna be on that Incredible Hawk tonight, man. That Hypnotic and Hennessy.
Oh my God.
I'm just playing, man. I'm out of here, man. Y'all stay good.
Peace.
Jay Foreman, Kenny Wilhite. We'll be back
on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club or space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, listen up. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. If you're in Lincoln, Waverly, or the surrounding area, contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Back to Old School with DP and J.
Welcome back to Old School. I'm gonna correct. Let me correct some nonsense that went on. So, the whole Dotson thing, the Johan Dotson thing, right? That Jay said, it came draft time, and the Commanders were on the board, and this is where I waved the flag because I was like, I've had enough of y'all, but this is it for me. And they had the pick lined up. Had the player of choice. So, Kenny, this is how it went down. Pick number 11. Commanders have it. They need a receiver to go with Terry McLaurin. They need like they need air. Like they need air. What this clown show did was it traded that pick to New Orleans, who then took Chris Olave, and then you drop down to take Dotson. I mean, let me point this out. This is why I Olave. Baller. Saw him up close in person.
Ready for this? 72 catches, 1,000 yards.
With the Saints. Rookie year.
With the Saints. And the number one ain't even there. So with the number one and with single coverage all year, Dotson caught 35 balls for 523 yards. And he was playing opposite Terry McLaurin. Now you tell me if the NFC East doesn't play different if it's McLaurin and Olave, no matter who playing quarterback. Man, look.
I think the Commanders got you frustrated.
Look, that's why I'm in the transfer portal. I'm an NFL fan free agent.
Nope, you just got Bieniemy. OC.
See, but this is
you're good now.
No. If he was the head coach, they would have me back.
Rivera's a good head coach.
Listen to me.
He's a defensive guy.
Listen to me.
I'm trying to get you back.
I had Rivera in Carolina. See, my Panther blood, it still exists. Like there's strings in my heart. I spent a lot of time in Carolina with the Panthers. Right? The Panthers love me. And look, the Redskins got mad at me because of the Panther love. But I went anyway, and I went down there and did my thing. And Rivera, while he took him to the show, didn't take care of his boys. See, that's how men treat men is how I judge men. Like how you treat people when you're done with them tells me everything about you. See, I'm nothing else. I'm loyal.
And so I worry when you talk about organizations and coaches, how you treat the good people that work for you matters. Because I was an assistant coach forever. And I was always brought in to fix stuff. And then you would fix it and get it right. And then I would watch how the people who made that decision handle business. And that would let me know whether to stay there or not.
So it's interesting you bring that up, right? Is how you treat people, right? So when you're at a certain place and things aren't going well, but you have a lot of people that still doing things behind the scenes.
Yep.
Right? To hopefully get this thing fixed.
Yep.
I always took it upon myself, right? You have equipment guys, you have trainers, you have academic people, you have life skills people.
Mm-hmm.
You say how you treat people.
Yep.
I'd take them donuts, take them cookies. Here you go. Thanks for everything you do. Because they're the people behind the scene that don't get their names in the paper. They don't get, stuff brought up about them, but they're working behind the scenes. And if it wasn't for them, this operation wouldn't work. So I always took it upon myself. Even, Miss Joni, who was our administrative assistant, here's a gift card. Go do this, go do that. Joni, here's some cookies for you. You know what I mean?
Joe Gibbs said this 30 years ago. 30 years ago, Joe Gibbs said this, that it's his mission to take his coaches to the same dinner the day they left the organization as the day he recruited them. Right? Like, if you deserve to go to the best steakhouse when I'm trying to get you, then the moment you outgrow what we actually planned for you, then I need to say goodbye the same way I welcomed you in. And I don't understand. It's not that complicated. Look, I can speak to this. We can talk about this station. People leave here. I say to you, listen, the people that left the station left for a better opportunity, which actually was the plan. Young Nathan went to Kansas City. Guess what? We went and had drinks night before he left. Like, I got out of surgery and went and had drinks with that dude. I got out of heart surgery and went and had and paid for drinks for this dude. Because he was important when he got here. He's important when he leaves, and forever forward he's going to be. Like, I pay attention to and my biggest frustrations about organizations is that they're doing business rather than in the money business rather than the people business. And again, I'm the accumulation of a bunch of great coaches. And John Thompson used to say this, and he meant it. He absolutely meant it. Never choose the game over the player.
You can't.
Like, never choose the game over the player. And it was purposeful because he said, there is a person that I'm dealing with, and that's way more important than the game itself. The game is just a vehicle for the relationship. So how you do anything in that, how you treat people, is how you deal in life. And the best coaches are consistent at a thing, that they want to treat people the right way. And the best organizations, and I understand now because of social media, more information gets out than before. Mm-hmm. So there were things before that like nothing is new. So the way bad coaches treat players, there's no secret to it. But now there's social media. So if you do it, somebody's going to say, and everybody has a voice now. So if you treat a player poorly now, the player can say, hey, you know what? No, that's not how it went down.
Mm-hmm.
That's good and bad. It's good if you use it to say, I'm never going to do that again. It's bad if you ignore it. If you ignore it. And we know in sports that who we root for is a representation of who we are at heart. So the players we root for, teams we root for, universities, all those things. That's a statement that, you know what? I believe in what they believe in. And that's some real depth when you get to it at that level. That, you know what, I'm a fan of so and so. Okay. And there are people, like I have friends of mine that, they're pro wrestling fans. When they go to pro wrestling match, they root for all the villains. They root for, because they love chaos. They love chaos. And those people exist. They're our friends. We know who they are. Literally, you know who they are. The contrarian, the person that's there to really just shake it up. And then there are people that at all costs and all expense root for everybody to do well. No matter what. Like, I want to watch two teams at their best, play at their best, and then whatever result you get is what you get. In recruiting, I think some of the biggest mistakes are made because people are paying debts that the fans don't know about. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back so y'all understand, because this ain't Kenny, and I'm speaking from my own knowledge and my own personal experience, that the biggest mistakes made in recruiting are not because somebody wasn't talented or not because they weren't a fit for the program. It is because whoever's making the final decision is paying a debt that the fans don't know. If you as a fan base said, you know what, we want the quarterback from my hometown, and you ask the question, does this guy have the talent? Yep. Does he have the grades? Yep. Does he fit the system? Yep. But you didn't recruit him, or you didn't commit to him, or you didn't sign him. Why? If it doesn't, and this is another gem I'm gonna give you today. I'm feeling churchy, so we're gonna go ahead.
Preach.
That if in sports, if 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2, it's money. The answer is money. Money. If there's a top quarterback in the state, and Nebraska has a history, the last 3 years, the best quarterback in the state didn't end up at University of Nebraska. Why? Money. Because you chose to keep money to the side for somebody else and didn't take care of your own. You didn't take care of the best of your own. The best of your own. And then going to put it on somebody to say, well, he's responsible for Nebraska. Nope. You're responsible for the checkbook, and you went bank balance rather than football, rather than Nebraska, rather than the right thing. And there are two types of people who sit at the top of athletic departments around the country. There are people that want ownership of it, to say, this is mine and we do what we want. And then the other side are people who want to do right. People that want to do right. And people that want ownership to be able to say, look at my stuff. Look at mine. And when you get it right, the programs that get it right sit and they sleep well at night. Ain't no drama. Ain't no stress. Except the villains over there whispering, well, look, they probably doing what we do. They probably doing that dirty stuff. And then people look at them and go, nope. Nope, I sleep good at night. You know why? Because I take care of my people. And we'll know, the fan base will know when Nebraska's getting it right. Because the right people will be a part of the program. The right people will be a part of the program. And I'm going to say this again. Here's another thing. If you tell me you all about Nebraska, you should be recruiting Nebraska first. Preach. Don't tell me you all about Nebraska. Hey, you going to go get coaches from Alaska, from Hawaii, from Montana, from Mississippi, but you're not going to get none from Nebraska? Because that's telling me that in Nebraska, you don't give them respect and you don't think they're good enough. You can tell me that you're not developing athletes in Nebraska that are worthy of wearing that scarlet and cream. But the dudes from Alaska, hey, we're going to go out of our way to take care of Alaska people. Because why? Because, money. Yeah. I it's Friday. I was cool in the back.
Happy Friday. Preach.
You know, every now and then. Well, because in this space, you find really good people. And the one thing that I do well, I'm not special about anything except for I look for really good people. Good people. And then if you're talented people, if you're good and talented, whoo, oh, we in business. Like, we can work. Look around us. Like, you bring me Kenny Wilhite, and I sit with Kenny for 5 minutes. I know. The universe dug me, man. The universe said, I'm going to put two good people together. And you know what? I'll get out of the way and let you be great in it. Because that's the right thing to do. You're supposed to be heard, man.
Appreciate you.
You're supposed to be heard, bro. I want you in this space, and I want you letting people know what it is. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. If you want to be a part of what we're doing, it's Friday. And again, we got a full weekend of Husker hoops at home at Pinnacle Bank Arena. You've got activity down in Clearwater. Softball took a tough one, tough L against Virginia Tech.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball starts tonight at San Diego. Track, they had a tune-up meet over there. It's going to be all weekend as well. Wrestling is at home Sunday against Arizona State.
Senior day.
Senior day. It's a big one. Get out. The tickets everything's under $7.
Go support the Huskers.
Man, go. You got an All-American coach. You better go. You better go support Mark Manning.
Yep. Great dude.
Men's gymnastics. It's an elite program. It's an elite program. Bowling. It's an elite program. Number 3 in the country.
National champs.
Number 3 in the country currently, with a legitimate shot of bringing home another championship. It's good stuff in the space.
Yep.
Right? Happy about it. You were saying earlier about Eric Bieniemy that it's almost a demotion. I don't even think you're right. I'm not sure that it's even a lateral step. I think you have to ponder and ask the question, why would he leave the Super Bowl champions with the MVP, the best player in the game, right? He's the best player in the game now. We right now, if you redid your list, Mahomes is number 1, right?
Yes.
Is that fair? That's a fair, right? And is there any coach that you would love to coach with more than Andy Reid? So I'll ask you, I'm going to ask you, if you could pick 5 coaches, head coaches in the NFL to actually work with, who would you choose?
Well, Andy Reid has to be number 1.
Hmm?
Right now, he has to be number 1. Then you have to go with the man up in New England.
Belichick.
Peyton. Sean Payton. Denver. What's my guy name in San Fran?
Shanahan.
And then I'm gonna have to go out on a limb. Oh Lord, you would put me on this.
Tomlin? Harbaugh?
I would say either Tomlin or Harbaugh right now.
Right. Well, I would then ask, why? Why those coaches?
Well, to me, those coaches right now are coaches that have put other people in positions to move on, to get better jobs. That's first and foremost.
Okay.
And I think those coaches really genuinely care about their assistants, and it's not about them. You know what I mean? I don't know too many of the other coaches to talk about
But
them.
there's something about them.
But there's something about them that makes you think that they're in it for the right reasons, and they're going to help you develop as a young coach or as a coach in general to where you can move on and take better jobs. Back to Bieniemy. Now, there's 3 questions you got to ask yourself. 1, was he wanted back in Kansas City?
Legitimate question.
Was he legitimately wanted back in Kansas City?
Right.
That's the first question you have to ask.
Yep.
Did Kansas City really want him back? Did Andy Reid really want him back? Right? So that's question number 1. We don't know what the GM's thinking. We don't know what Pat Mahomes thinking. We don't know what Andy Reid is thinking. Andy Reid has went to bat for Bieniemy. on several occasions, saying that he's worthy of a head coaching job, right? So 2, did he want to get out from underneath Andy Reid and so he can have his own offense, say he called the plays, his own system, right?
Which leads me to another question, but go ahead.
Those are the top 2 questions you have to ask.
Here's question 2B. 2A is 2B. Why would Andy Reid have to validate Eric Bieniemy? The truth is right there. This is the offensive coordinator. No matter what the job is, somebody gave him the job. He earned the job. But somebody gave him the job. He kept the job. And then by the very definition of the job, he excelled at the job better than anybody in that job in the NFL. So other people, it doesn't matter. Like, people trip on the peripheral stuff, but the reality is he did the job better than anybody else in the highest league that exists
for the last 5 years. For the last 5 years.
You know, I heard you got to talk yourself out of hire the best person. Like, that's some real
for the last 5 years, right?
Right.
He's been whether you can say Andy Reid's calling the plays or they're tag teaming it.
Yeah.
You know, but for the last 5 years, he's been a part of one of the best offenses in the National Football League.
Boy, that's
so you're right. It shouldn't have to been validated by Andy Reid.
It shouldn't have to be. And from the text line, a couple of questions. One is this important question: did Patrick Mahomes want Bieniemy back? Yes. The answer is yes. Now, why? Because he just won another MVP and another Super Bowl with him. Now, as happens when 2 elites get together or 3 elites get together, and you can talk about Brady and Belichick in the same space, right? That
3 alphas in one room.
Then it becomes a matter of, okay, can I do this myself? And that's a selfish thing. But then you ask the question, if Mahomes said that, he's not really the dude we think he is. Right? If you took all the money, won the MVPs, got all the perks, and then don't stand up for the guy who helped you achieve it, that says more about you than it does the other guy.
Yeah.
It's reality. We'll throw it to break. When we come back, I'll answer another question. Somebody asked a question. Said I've been an assistant coach. I'm not listing my resume. My resume is out there. I'm easy to find. Do your homework. We'll close out old school when we come back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In boys basketball on Tuesday, Lincoln East would just get by Lincoln North Star in a close game, 72-68. Lincoln Pius X won over Lincoln Northeast, 59-51. Lincoln Southeast coasted to a win over Columbus, 71-40, and Miller North won in a high-scoring game over Lincoln Southwest, 91-80. Switching to girls basketball, Lincoln High would dominate in their win over Norfolk, 78-17. Lincoln North Star just got past Lincoln East 43-40. Lincoln Pius X beat Lincoln Northeast 44-37, and Lincoln Southeast beat Columbus 41-39. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934 8934. HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Husker Nation, Amy Williams and Nebraska women's basketball needs you February 18th at 1 p.m. as the Huskers take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. We need your help to sell out Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time ever. For event and ticket information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club, or space club, and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? No, forget that. How about a margarita club? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge and join the best club in town. 10 flavors of margaritas like Maui Wowie, burnt pineapple, and mango tango. Try all 10 of them and receive your own souvenir margarita glass. Make it your new Monday night tradition. $4 margaritas and $4 taco baskets. Grab the crew and head on over Monday nights or any night. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
A bit of a nicer day for our Friday when compared to yesterday. We'll see a high of 38 today. Sunny skies, winds out of the west-southwest at around 10 to 15. A low tonight of around 23. It will be a little breezy at times tomorrow. South winds gusting over 20, pushing our highs back up to 43. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment before we spin it out. I'll tell you, we'll go national at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow we'll have some college basketball live broadcast through Saturday and Sunday. You'll have those. Plus, we'll have the full run of Sunday shows, starting with the LPS show at 8 o'clock with Peter Ferguson, Bigger Than the Score. And if you haven't listened to this program, I'm just telling you, it'll be one of your best hours of radio. And then we close on Sunday with Ricky Simmons and to get your happy on hour. And again, if you don't get it, those are the two of the best hours of radio that exist in this market. And if you're not listening, plug it in. If you haven't heard, find it. I mean, look, man, the Husker recap with Tom Stevens and Mike Melby, 2 hours of quality radio. Just jump in. And, oh, by the way, Kenny Wilhite's been hanging out with us. Bill Bush has been hanging out with us. Oh, and guess what? There are more Huskers coming. There are more Huskers coming. Some dudes you know and dudes you like. And we want to bring them to you. And we just want to give us a place where we can come hang out, talk a little ball, have some fun, laugh at each other.
Yep. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree.
All right? Like, I love the fact that there's a trust factor, because if I'd said a month ago that I would give over 90 minutes of old school to anybody, I'd have said no. But Austin is a person of quality, a person of depth, and I trust him with it. Jay Foreman is a person of quality and a person of talent, and I trust him. Kenny Wilhite, person of quality, person of talent, and I trust him. You know what it allows me to do? All the other stuff that needs to get done over the course of time. So I'm grateful for y'all.
I appreciate you.
I have to say that on air. I appreciate y'all making my life easier and making the station better.
And Austin is the man.
Right? Like, come on.
He's the man.
I hold this chair down.
He does.
I hold this chair down. Let me tell you. I hold this chair down.
You hold this whole operation.
Right? Like, I'm sitting here I'm laughing, right? Because he has to deal with Strick and all of that energy, right? And the whole I'm having a hard time keeping these Gators down. That's Strick. Like, Strick got a strut, baby. Like, he can't, like, I love it.
Yep.
And by the way, if you're going to be in Lincoln this weekend, you're going to see a lot of former Huskers hanging around. A lot of former Husker Hoops players going to be around. And, there's a basketball clinic tonight at Speedway. Those McGowan boys are in town working with basketball players. So, if you're looking you got young ballers, young hoopers, take them out there. If you got young ballers and hoopers, boys or girls, take them to Pinnacle Bank Arena tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I have
then pitch your tent and stay there.
Because, here come the red hot stinking Terps of Maryland. They are on fire. Like, they gave a second half beat down to Purdue last night. They were down 10 and said, come get this work. Now, Maryland has a chance, but Nebraska has a bigger opportunity.
You got to be ready for it. Got to be ready for it. I'm sure Fred will have them boys ready. If you can't get up for a game like that,
let's go.
You can't. If you can't,
let's go.
As an individual competitor, get up for a game like that. Even with the women.
You're playing the best player in the country.
You're playing the best player in the country.
In the country.
You got to beat her once. You got to beat her once.
You got to beat her once.
No matter what.
And if you can't get up for a game like of this magnitude, you don't need to lace up your shoes.
With
put
a
on your
full
cleats,
house.
With a full house.
The full house. Both of those. I would imagine that Sunday's got some serious ticket sales behind it too. And it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting. Again, Husker baseball opens its season tonight. First pitch at 8 o'clock. You can do that. Or follow the Huskers this weekend and what they do. It's going to be a great weekend. I'll be back on air Sunday. Me and Hoster Breezy will break down. We have some fun on Sundays. We talk a little hoops, a little football, sometimes some pro wrestling. Depends on the mood.
You really into pro wrestling like that?
Oh, them my dudes, man. Those are my guys.
So growing up,
yeah,
my boys club would take us to the wrestling.
I know they did. You had a good Saturday when you went.
I did. But when I got in high school, I was like, no.
Oh, I was
Von Erich brothers.
Okay, look, come on.
Iceman King Parsons.
Come on. With the bad braids and the mohawk.
Old school.
Look, come on. Kerry Von Erich. Kerry was the guy. David was the best.
Yes.
And then Keith was the most athletic.
Yes.
And his dad, Fritz. And if you really want to get into some stories, go and track The Curse of the Von Erich family.
Yes.
It is to have three of the brothers lead.
Yes.
And Kevin's the only one that's left.
Yep.
And it's amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff. But that's,
Wrestling.
those were our heroes growing up. Those were our heroes.
Saturday.
That's it.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Boys Club. Busing down to
Kill
Center watching
I'm
wrestling.
working on because I want to get Baron Von Raschke. He's from Nebraska.
Really?
I need to get him and the DiBiase's who are from Omaha. Like we need to get there's like 5 wrestlers who are from Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get them and pull them in.
I had a couple teammates, and I'm not going to put them on blast, but they ran into a couple of those wrestlers over in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, buddy.
Woo.
Yeah.
They were twins.
Yeah.
The wrestlers were twins.
And you learn.
Oh, he learned the lesson.
You learn.
He
You
learned
learn.
the lesson.
Look, don't do it. All right, brother. Kenny, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Austin, well done. Text line, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. But we'll finish with the 3 words that mean so much just because. Go Big Red!
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call